Detail Podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I'm your host, Meredith.
And I'm your host, Cass.
Let's have some fun.
Talk with their hands, and then they go like
Yeah.
this, and you talking about Italy. I'm sure you'll talk about your hands.
Yeah, I'm not talking about my hands. My hands will be all over the place.
Well, cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
This is so fun.
Thanks. Thank you for
bringing
bringing the
us in.
wine. Yeah,
Yes.
cheers.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Oh my God, we're
Happy
already on.
Friday.
Meredith likes to
Oh.
do this. She doesn't
Oh
even
my
tell
God,
us.
she-
You're not even ready.
And I
Not
just
ready.
start
I'm
recording.
Just drinking my wine.
She just didn't even have a sip of her wine yet.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I got to try it. Thank you so much for bringing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
We've been so excited to have you on.
I'm
This is
so
awesome.
excited.
Because what did you say when you brought the wine? I know Craig forgot wine,
Craig.
so I made sure I brought wine.
Craig
I
is
almost
never
said
going to
it.
live that down.
I saw him at the farmer's market on Sunday, and I almost said something to him, but I
You
was
should.
too busy. I was
You
like,
should.
I was like, I just want my pesto. My
Yes,
pasta.
so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
So Katie's here with us.
Yay.
Hi, Katie. If you
Thank
saw
you.
online, she basically lives in Italy,
Yeah.
in
And
Florence.
I still say on my Facebook profile, it says, I'm in Italy right now.
yes, yes.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if
Yeah.
I had the option, I would definitely always be in Italy also.
I mean, why not?
I've never
Yeah.
even been there, but it's got to be better than here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in Crystal Lake, so
Okay.
coming back here, it was really hard because I lived there for on and off for about 20 years.
Oh, wow.
But like permanently as a resident, I was there for 4 years.
Yeah.
And every time I came back, I'm like, I don't want to come back
No.
here.
oh,
Mm-mm.
gosh.
But I mean, I miss
gross.
family. Of course, you
Yeah,
miss
of
family.
course.
But like,
You know what? That's when you're like, y'all better save up and come see me.
well,
Yeah.
I
that's
miss
how
you.
that's how my parents came to Florence when I was studying abroad. Like that's the
Yeah.
only way they would have probably come and to Europe
Yeah.
because they had no reason. Like,
I was just going to ask, how many years have you been traveling? And what made you go there? And you just said travel abroad. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah. So this is a very fun story. So I went to school at St. Mary's University in Winona, Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
and my sophomore year, I played soccer there for 4 years as well. My fellow teammate Katie Lentz. Who is that?
Oh, hey, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly. Sorry, Katie Lentz, now Katie Bunkers. She had studied abroad the prior semester, and she had told me, Katie, oh my God, you have to go. Oh my God, I'm going to write down all the things you got to see and do and meet. It's just amazing. You got to go apply. And I'm like, all right. So this was September 2001,
Okay.
and we knew what happened after that.
Yeah.
So 9/11 happened.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
So-
put that together right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
9/11 happened. There's a whole bunch of students that signed up. Half of them, got out because of, scared.
Of course.
But it changed the trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
I would never have been going there or wanting to go to Italy, even though in hindsight, I think, like, well, my Nana was born in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like,
maybe
I'd even, like-
eventually you would have gone, but maybe not.
Maybe, but my
Yeah.
grandmother moved over to the States during the Korean War. So it's like, I didn't put the two things together. I
Yeah.
had great grandparents that came over from London because they moved there, but I never put the two things together. I'm like, oh my God, that's my heritage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I really wanted, and at that time, 2001, think about it, I didn't have a smartphone.
No.
Yeah.
Internet cafes galore
Right.
all
Yeah,
over
right.
Florence.
Oh my God,
So-
I forgot about internet
Do you-
cafes.
I was talking to my friend today. She's like, oh my God, do you remember calling cards? I'm like, yes, that's what
Oh
I
my
used to call my
God.
parents. So when I was there in that spring semester 2002, it was all about being present. So I was always in the moment. You could look people in the eye. You're not sitting at the bar with your cell phone and a glass of wine. You're
Right.
Yeah.
sitting there trying to learn the language, listen to people. So it really brought this idea of connection. Like I had so many connections that I made just that semester. And to this day, I have my friend Simone, who owned a pub at the time. He was at my wedding, and we've been friends for like 20 years.
Oh, that's so
Amazing.
fun.
So like
Amazing.
that's what started it.
I've always said the more people you meet, the more opportunities open up to you.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you know.
totally,
Yeah.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
So what do you do now? Because I know that there's
Yeah.
many pictures of you in Italy, in Florence. I know you
I-
have a podcast that
I
you talk
do-
about Florence.
I
and
do have a podcast. I
Yeah.
started that during the pandemic.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody did.
Everybody started something new in the pandemic. It's called Florence and Me, and I started talking about my journey of studying abroad and then moving abroad. I was a nanny for a while for an Italian family. I I became a travel writer for about 3-4 years.
Wow,
Like,
amazing.
that is so cool.
I kind of went through these like phases of like discovery, I guess I
Yeah.
would call it, because like I didn't know what I really wanted to do. Thank God for credit cards.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Oh,
paying all
Lord.
my tickets going
Future
back and
Katie
forth.
will pay for this.
Yeah, I
right?
say it all the time.
I'll get a temp job from Working World in Crystal Lake. Shout out, like because
Who
they
did
helped
not?
me.
Who did not? At one point in their life, if you lived in McHenry County
Yeah.
growing up,
Yeah.
you went to Working World and you got a temporary job and you prayed that they didn't hire you full time.
Oh my God.
You know,
and I was
like,
always
oh
just like,
God,
good,
I don't
want to
do this.
once every week.
Yeah.
I was always
Yeah.
happy about that.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. So so I moved, let's see. So after I came back from studying abroad, I got a real job.
Ew.
I hate those.
Sick.
I worked at Motorola for about a year and a half. That was all I
Also, everybody worked there that lived in McHenry County.
Everybody did. My dad worked there for 35 years, so he got me a job there. I worked in the call center of the dreaded places. 200 calls a day. It was really bad.
Ew.
That's crazy.
It was bad. So I had such the gusto, I guess, I don't know if that's the word,
Mhm.
the courage to ask my boss's boss. It was the summer before summer of 2005, like May 2005. I'm like, hey, so I had this idea. I want to go spend 3 months in Italy and learn the Italian language. Can I just be on like sabbatical? She was just like, no. Why would you? And then she said, this is the exact quote I will never forget, because my supervisor was sitting next to me, and he was so proud of me. But sitting next to me, she said, "What are you gonna do without Motorola?" And I'm like,
God.
so many things.
We're a family here. What do you mean you're leaving the family?
Is Motorola even still around?
I think it is.
Yeah,
but
it
owned
is.
by Google or
Yeah,
Microsoft.
it's
I
not.
don't know.
It's not the same Motorola. So obviously
not.
we all learned to live
What
without
do
it.
we do without it?
We learned to live without the Razor.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
the crime of where I came from. The Razor phone. Yeah. So I didn't obviously get a sabbatical. I quit.
Okay, but
love
do you,
that.
Yeah.
okay, but does like the normal U.S. citizen even know what the word sabbatical means?
Probably not. Maybe she was confused.
Can you explain it to us? What
But
sabbatical is?
basically taking 3 months off to find myself, I guess.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
like what a professor would do and like go like study with George O'Keeffe, which is what
Right.
my philosophy professor did.
Yeah.
So like
Yes.
yeah. So
I think they just call it travel or study abroad now. That's
Yeah.
all I hear at work.
Yeah.
That's what they're-
basically,
they
yeah. I
do.
want to
Yeah.
travel for 3 months. Can you give me like time off and I'll come back in September?
And you know they do that now. Companies do that.
Oh, they really do that?
Yes,
Oh, I thought
they
you were
allow
joking.
the leave.
I thought that
And
was
then
only in the movies.
They can't
Yeah.
guarantee your role is still going to be there, but they will allow you to leave, and then you can reapply if the
Oh.
role is no longer.
Well, that just
Aw.
sounds like giving your 2 weeks and then
Yeah.
reapplying.
I mean,
I'm leaving on good terms. Can you like maybe give me a like? I proved I'm a good employee while I was here.
I mean, I wonder how many people come back from that though.
nobody.
Like
nobody.
Can you-
They go to Florence and they stay
like, go
there.
to
Yeah.
Florence
You're the
and
only
they're
one
like,
that's come
I
back.
know, I came
Yeah.
back. Oh my God.
sick. Why'd you
Yeah.
come back?
God.
So let's get to that. So why
So-
did you come back?
Yeah.
How much? Which time? 'Cause
Right.
I'm
Oh,
not done yet.
God.
Right. Well, we're
Okay.
in 2005.
Okay,
This is
okay, sorry,
2005.
I'm jumping way ahead.
I know. So I spent the summer 2005 in Florence. I did 1 month of Italian lessons at the school in Piazza della Repubblica.
That sounded so fancy.
And with that school, which was really cool, you could rent an apartment. So they, for the amount of money, I forgot how much it was, but credit card. And so I got an apartment, and then the girls that I shared it with, who sadly they were all very big druggies. Yeah, so it was bad. But they did come to class, I fear, apparently. But I don't know.
Wow.
So
Were they also from the U.S.?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And there was one girl from Hungary
Okay.
Oh.
who felt really left out because
Yeah.
when them all doing like drugs in the kitchen, and we're like, oh, this is really awkward.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Like,
yeah.
Can we just have some red wine and a baguette, please?
Yes,
Yeah.
I just want to make my pasta. I don't want to see you smoking your hash. Like,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
just, I just want a little breathing room. But they
somebody
were
crack
nice
a window.
girls. They were
That is
nice
so
girls.
crazy.
But yeah, so I got the apartment with the course. And of course, then I found some Italian men who I
Oh,
just
of
like
course.
frequented, like as friends and of other notions. But it was amazing because I let everything just kind of, it was very free. I think I called my mom and I'm like, oh, I'm on a beach with like 3 Italian men and we're having pasta. And she's like, I'm doing laundry.
Oh my
And
God.
she's like, so
Stop
pissed.
calling me.
She's like, and now I have to clean the bathroom. Why are you
Oh,
calling? I'm
jeez.
like, well, all right, bye-bye. Like,
That's
but,
amazing.
Yeah, so
I
that
miss
was,
my 20s.
Oh gosh.
yeah, that was definitely my 20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was 3 months, and then sadly I had to leave because you can only stay in Europe without a visa,
On a visa,
for
yeah.
90
Okay,
days
okay.
without being, kicked out.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then for a year I came back. I worked at a good old MCC, and during that period, I'm like, oh my God, how can I get back there?
How can I
Like,
escape
Yeah.
how can
this
I get
hell
back there?
again?
That
I
has to
do
be so
not.
hard.
It was really bad.
Knowing that your heart is there,
and
you
I
know?
and I was like a receptionist, so I was like treated like crap. I mean, no offense to if anybody, nobody's probably listening from that time, but
No,
but yeah, I ended
they
up.
should be.
they should be ashamed of
You are
themselves.
offended by how they treated you.
I am.
Rightly so.
Because I was a receptionist. One of them like treated me like I was like an idiot. Like
Yeah.
just
Oh,
like
no.
like she was like used to be a lawyer and like oh my God, it was a whole thing.
and
But
it's like, well, why aren't you anymore? You really stepped down, didn't you?
Yeah. So in that time I'm like, oh, I could be an au pair or a nanny.
Oh yes, yes.
Like, why not do that? And so I found this company in Turin or Torino, and she paired me with this family in Florence. And I talked to this woman on the phone. Her name was Valentina. I'm like, okay, great. She had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. Yeah, 2-year-old and 4-year-old. Carolina Maria. She's like, okay, I'll pick you up in January 2007, and you'll be with us for as long as you want. I'm like, okay.
So,
I think you're going to ask the
question.
same question. Go ahead.
on a visa,
Yep, there we go.
getting a job, you
Yep.
can stay longer.
Okay, so this is where the Italian bureaucracy is kind of fun because
Okay.
since I was living with an Italian family, it's not like they're going to try to search me out.
Okay.
Okay.
So I luckily was able to stay longer than,
You're 90 days.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
yeah. So I ended up staying 9 months with the family, which was way too long.
Mm.
But it was a really good experience because I learned, I would say, I don't want to say this wrong, but I learned kind of like the caste system of like wealthy Italian families.
Okay.
Because a lot of the Italian families hired Filipino women to take care of their children.
Okay.
Because they don't want a lot of money, so they pay them a lot less.
oh,
it's
so
kind
that
of
they
like-
can continue staying rich.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
okay. Okay.
So they would like, take care of the kids while they do their things, own their business, run their businesses,
yeah,
whatever.
sure.
So that experience was interesting because, I mean, to this day, I'm still friends with Valentina. We have a different relationship, which is better. But I was kind of treated like a servant
Mm.
in that sense. So I learned my worth because I'm like, I freaking have a college degree. Like,
Yeah.
you can't talk to
Yeah.
me like this. The poor girls just wanted their mother, and she was a very like, I don't know what the-
Italian.
it's not no in a completely opposite way of Italian, that she did not want to like sit. She just wanted to sit with her children, but she wasn't a lovey-dovey mom.
Like
Yeah.
affectionate or anything.
she wasn't
Yeah.
very affectionate at all. Guido, her husband, is so lovey-dovey. Like
She did it for
them.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he hugs them and like everything. But anyway, I love the family. No bad blood between them because I loved being with them, and they had such a great life. Like they had a
Yeah.
house in the countryside. They had a place on the beach. Like we
Describe this place because everyone's.
So the
Was it
place,
a villa?
yeah.
it
just,
was so. The retreat I'm doing for Yoga Studio next May is actually going to be at the place
Oh my
where I
gosh.
was a nanny,
Wow.
and my sister got married in 2019. It's like a
Stop.
hamlet on top of a hill in near where this wine was made.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that we're drinking, audience.
So good. Be
so-
jealous, please. Be
yes,
jealous.
so yeah, so it's 10, it sleeps 10, this villa where we're having it, and private pool, looks off. I can show you guys pictures after, but
Amazing.
it's on my website too. I can show you. But yeah, so I spent the time there. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about friends and stuff. Like we had another group of friends. I met a lot of Dutch people, Danish people. I had like Irish friends. It was just like a
Wow,
whole
amazing.
mix of people that you would
I wanna
never have met in
yeah.
McHenry County. No offense.
I want to hang out with Dutch people. They seem pretty cool.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
The fact that they can switch, they speak such good English, you don't know they're Dutch.
Really?
Wow.
The same with Norwegians.
Yes.
Norwegians, I was once in a pool in Florence and I heard this language, and me and my friend were both American. We're like, what is that language? And we're like, I don't know. It sounds sounds English. And then we go over to them. I'm like, I'm sorry, where are you from? And they're like, Norway. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Oh, wow.
it sounds English. They're
Do
like,
they have the same alphabet?
I don't know.
Or I mean, like I know Polish is
Right.
completely different than ours,
Right.
but Italian is similar, right? It's a similar alphabet.
Italian is similar, but the only letter they don't pronounce completely is H.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
So they call it H,
okay.
but it's not in any of their vernacular. Like they
Okay.
don't.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the same alphabet. Yeah,
Yeah.
Italian. Yeah,
Like
Did you
hamburger.
meet your husband in Italy?
I did.
Okay. And is he here now?
He is here.
Okay.
He is here now. We can get up to that. Do you guys want to go in the timeline? Or
Yeah,
do you
keep
want me
going.
to
Yes,
Please keep
keep
going
going.
on your
Okay, 'cause I
timeline.
can
I'm
go
so
on the timeline.
interested.
No, there's so many steps, and every time I do this, I'm like, I hope nobody's.
Oh wait, I
bored.
have a question about being
Sure.
an au pair or the
yes.
nanny.
Yes.
Do you get days off?
Yes, I did get days off.
Kind of.
I did get days off. I usually got the weekends off.
Oh, okay.
I was live-in, so obviously I was there
sure,
all the time.
sure.
But there is like a few times where she wanted, I think, okay, this one time I'll never forget. Because obviously I was, in my 20s, I'm drinking heavily, going out with friends, maybe not coming home. And there was one night that I didn't come home. And it was the night that her best friend gave birth, and she wanted me to watch the kids.
Oh.
And she wrote me a really nasty text. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm an
Yeah.
individual person. I didn't know she was going to give birth.
Right,
Like,
right.
So I felt bad, but then also I was like, okay, well,
I can't be
I'm
on
in-
call 24/7.
I'm like,
jeez.
I can't watch your children like all the time. During that period, though, I did take 9 months of Italian, and I got up to advanced level
That's
with
amazing.
grammar, and like I consistently stopped hanging out with Americans, because Florence, if you've never been, is full of Americans, and not
Oh,
just
okay.
tourists, study abroad students, because
Oh,
there is
okay.
over, God, I can't remember how many colleges. There's so many colleges in Florence
Oh wow.
that take over the streets and take over the bars and just.
Oh, they gotta
really-
love that over there.
Well, not really. The people in the center, they hate it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the throwing up, the peeing in the street.
Ew.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Animals.
Just
It's like they're at
Animals.
a Sox game.
Well, it's
Not every weekend is a Sox game, guys.
what's really funny is like I remember as a resident there and seeing, like, looking in and seeing all those drunk Americans out. I'm like, why are we so loud?
Yeah, we
Like,
are.
we're
We
so
are
loud.
obnoxious, aren't we?
I
'cause-
think most countries would agree with you on that.
Like, why? I'm like, you are drunk, but everyone hears that you're American. Don't be loud.
yeah.
Like, don't disrupt the peace. Like,
Yeah.
it's 11 p.m. Like, some people are sleeping. Like, where
You're
you're
like, I
walking.
just flew in.
Like-
It's 2 p.m. at home.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So, then from when I was an au pair, that was 2007. I came home, depressed. Went back to Working World, got a job.
Not again.
Went back to Working World, got a job for like very short period. And then that was 2008 came around. I was starting to write as a travel writer in 2007. And I found a couple other publications. And then I found my really good friend, Amanda Castleman, who's based in Seattle. And she's famous. I call her famous, but she's a big travel writer and she does courses and stuff.
Amazing.
So I did a travel writing workshop in Rome in April of 2008. Okay, this is where it gets really funny. And this is where the credit card comes in again. I went for a month of April, to Florence, and it was in Rome, but I was in Florence for the other weeks. I spent a week in Rome, and then the other 2 weeks I was with my friend David. And then I came home, went to Florida with my parents at their timeshare for like 2 weeks. And then in the middle of that April month, I found another au pair job, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to come back in June for 3 months?" I'm like, "Okay."
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
So I went back. And my parents were like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Credit card." Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I got it. And so I spent a month. It wasn't 3 months, a month, because they were older kids. They were 14 and 12. I didn't want to learn English.
Right.
Oh,
It was summer.
and that's why you were
it was
going
June.
there.
I was supposed to teach them English. They were in a beautiful house in a town called Gracida, like outside south of Florence. But it was a beautiful house, beautiful place. They had this huge garden. I like just walked around in their garden. The garlic like this big. I
Oh
was
my
like in
God.
love. The husband and wife, I don't think they're still together because he really flirted with me. And she did not
Can't
like
be.
that.
They can't be together.
And that's why you were there for only 4 weeks.
I was only there for a month, and we did go for a run, me and him. And I think she found out like an actual run, like a
Yeah,
run, like
yeah.
a jog. And I don't think she liked that. So she did end up firing me. She just said, hey, this isn't working out. I don't really think you're teaching my child. I'm like,
She's
yeah,
like,
because
my kids only know American swear words. I'm not liking this.
this period was really hard because I've met a guy, a really horrible guy, but I met a guy from Calabria. I started dating him. July. So that was June. July. I have to like close my eyes.
You're good. You're good.
July is when my friend Simone, who's still my friend, he let me stay with him for that month because his girlfriend at the time was in Mexico. And then I had to
She's
leave.
breaking relationships left and
I
right
know.
here.
Breaking it up.
I didn't even realize.
She was away. She didn't like me either because
Oh my gosh.
me and Simone were only friends. And after I left Simone's, I had found a random job with this school called European School of Economics.
Mm.
And I ended up finding out, for me, I think it was a cult.
Ooh.
And
At least
found
you
out-
realized.
I found out later, thankfully, they fired me because I didn't have the permesso di soggiorno because I was,
Oh.
they wanted me to, because I was actually working, but like not working, like they were paying me under the table.
Sure.
But anyway, the owner fired me. I lived in Lucca for 2 weeks. In the first 2 weeks of August of that year. Last 2 weeks of August, my best friend Kelly, who's from California, who lived in Florence as long as I have, she picked me up at the Lucca train station, took me back to her house in Florence. I spent 2 more weeks with her. And then that last month, I spent it with this boyfriend I had at the time. And then I left.
Hmm.
And then we broke up later that year because he was an asshole. But it was a
it
short-lived.
wasn't the time zone difference.
It was the
he was a dick.
short-lived. It was short-lived. It was like my first love, but it was like short-lived, and I knew what it was just not
So
meant
all
to
I'm
be.
hearing is
Yeah.
you have lived out of a suitcase since 2001,
Probably.
or
Yes, and I calculated.
I mean, I'm panicking inside. Like you don't even unpack, right? You're just not
No.
sure where you're going to be in a
I
week
was
or
so,
two.
and that's why I'll bring it back to connection because I've met so many amazing people
Yeah,
that
sure.
like took me in. Like Simone did not have to let me come stay in his
Yeah.
house, and it'll come back later because he ended up living with me for a while later on.
Sure.
So the connection and the present and just being with these people that even if they're American, Italian, Polish, Irish, whatever, there's something different about being in a different country when you're really searching for somebody to like for you to count on and
Yeah.
like and to like really when you're really stuck, especially when I was trying to find what I wanted to do, all these people came out of nowhere and just said, "Hey, I'll give you money for your rent.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to take you out for an aperitivo. I'm going to give you a glass of wine." Like, because I did not want to go home. Like, my mom was like, "Please come home. You can always come home." Like, I don't want to go home.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make this my life. And I want to, if it's going to be on my credit card, fine. But like, I want to make this work. So I was grateful. I'm always grateful for all those people that came into my life during that period. Because
Yeah, for sure.
2008 was really hard. So when I broke up with him during that period, it was like fall, so that's September, October, November, and stuff. I was thinking, okay, now I need to get this shit in the bag. Like
Yeah.
I need to figure out how to get there permanently so nobody kicks me out. I don't have to leave because I don't have a permesso di soggiorno. How can I do that? And I come to realize, okay, so previously my Nana, I told you guys earlier, she was born in Italy, but because of like, this is funny, because she was 6 months older than my grandfather, and this was during the war. This was during, they got married in 51, I think. Yes. And she went back to her small town in Emilia-Romagna with my great-grandfather and changed her name because she didn't like her name, and also changed her birth year. Just
wow.
crossed it out.
Shoot.
Just crossed it out and changed her birth year. Like, because her birth certificate was burned during World War II.
Yeah.
The city hall burned down. So it was just like typed up. And I could just see it just crossed out. She wanted to be called Maria. Her real name is Desalina.
Oh wow.
And I don't know why. She just
Both
hated
are
that
beautiful.
name. Both
Yeah.
are beautiful. And then she changed her birth year. So with all that, when I was trying to get Italian citizenship through her, the consulate's like, "Oh my God, there's like all this stuff you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to pay a lot of money." And I'm like, "Okay, fuck this. I
And
can't
you're like,
do this."
I don't have that much on
Sorry,
my credit card.
I'm
Yeah.
allowed to swear on this, right?
Oh yeah.
Forgot we can.
We're all adults here.
But so then I realized my mom was born in London.
Mm.
She's my grandmother's first child.
Okay.
So, and at the time, UK was part of the EU. So I'm like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
Because being part of the EU, all I have to do is apply for residency and I'm in. And then that's it. I don't need to go get a permesso di soggiorno, which is like a visa like every 6 months.
Yeah.
And the whole process of that is like hellish. So that's what I did. So I got all the paperwork I applied in January of 2009. By March, I had been approved.
Wow.
May, I went into the consulate, British consulate in Chicago. I got sworn to the Queen and stuff like that. And then by July, I had my passport and I left.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I'm out.
I'm out. I got my passport. I cried because I'm like, oh my God, this is my ticket to live in Florence because that's the only way. And then so from 2009 to 2013, that's when I was permanently living there.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
I'll
cool.
stop there if you guys have questions because I'll just
Drink
have
your
a drink.
wine.
I'm gonna drink a wine.
Take a sip. And so your mom was born in London.
Yeah.
And then so your Nana lived here also?
My Nana has lived here since she moved over here. So that was in the 50s.
After they got married.
After they got
moved
married.
here.
So
I'm just trying to figure out how I get out of the U.S.
I know. Same.
I'm like, man, I got to go back. My great grandma,
Mm-hmm.
I think her father was born in Canada.
You could go to Canada.
Okay, that's not any better than here. I
You
don't
just
think.
cross the border. It's like different when you cross an
It's
ocean.
like they'll let me come in. They don't
Yeah,
like,
like,
you know what
please
I
come
mean?
in.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
do you want a donut?
Yeah.
Like,
You know, some maple leaves.
We have a lot of Canadians that listen. Behave yourself.
I said no.
Yeah.
Hey, I've hosted Canadians at my house. These two
I love
kids,
Canadians.
the one was going to college
Yeah.
and the other one said, I'm going to drive with you to college. Well, instead of crossing Canada
Yeah.
where there's nothing,
Uh-huh.
they came down into Wisconsin.
Uh-huh.
And then they tried to camp on the side of the road out here. My friend Jay
Mm.
said, you can't camp here. You will get arrested. The police station is right down the road. Come to my house, camp at my house.
Yeah.
We had a cookout at my house the next day. I've hosted Canadians. I
Yeah.
love Canadians.
Okay.
My
all right.
sister-in-law is Canadian, so I fully
Yeah.
love Canadians, yes.
I love Canadians, but that's not exciting.
It's not exciting.
That's like
Yeah.
going to the U.S. but colder.
That's very true.
I don't want to go to Canada.
I know.
I'm going to have to do a little more digging to see
Gotta
where
dig
I
it.
can go.
Yeah.
Where else can you
yeah.
go? Well, now there's this thing called you can do that digital nomad visa.
Okay, what's that? Tell
So
me
the,
more.
The digital nomad visa in Italy, I don't know, it seems a little like fuzzy, but like I know in Spain it's pretty prevalent. There's a few other countries I think in Europe. So you have to apply for it, but you have to be able to show that you have enough income so you're
Okay.
not taking money from the government.
Sure.
Okay.
And
Makes
then
sense.
like
And
people
like be a part of society.
and be
You're
a part
not
of
just gonna
society.
Live off of
Yeah.
yeah.
because a lot of the digital nomad groups that I follow, just because I was interested in that at first, it's like a lot of younger people that are doing it right
Yeah.
now, like 20s, 30s, but they like rent a house together and they
Right.
like do their online stuff.
See, I
like,
miss my 20s.
What's the weather there? Like around this time?
yeah.
right now it's very hot.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is.
Very hot.
Okay.
It's
Very
the same
hot.
as here, probably. We're
Very-
at like 80 degrees, 90 degrees
It's
some
probably
days.
around like 90. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
humidity's really high.
I was just going to
Yeah.
ask humidity or no humidity?
Humidity's
Okay.
really high, and because air conditioning is very expensive for Italians, they don't want to turn it on
Yeah.
unless
Sure.
they really need it. Like my mother-in-law will not turn her air conditioning on unless she's dying. Like she'll turn it on for a little bit and then she'll turn it off.
Okay.
It's like,
Like
just to get a chill in the room.
She can't. She'll just take a shower, and she's like, "That's it. I'll
Oh.
just sweat."
Well, you know, because I'm
Yeah.
wondering, like, how, like, obviously, Pioneer survived without air conditioning, right? American Indians survived
Yeah.
without. How?
How
How did they do it?
It's,
What were their tricks?
So
and
right now
tips
it's
to
1
do it?
a.m. So we're recording on
Mhm.
Tuesday at about 5:30, 6 o'clock
Yeah.
p.m. here, Central Time. It's 1 a.m. right now. It's 78 there.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
nice
it says
at
on
night.
Tuesday it's going to be 104.
Yeah.
So as long as you're by the water, I'm sure there's a nice
in
breeze,
the
right?
by the
You
seaside.
sound like a Chicagoan.
by the seaside for sure.
Yeah.
It's always breezy. It always feels nice.
That's when I
Yeah.
go visit Jay in Florida, and I'll go in August, and people are like, "How can you go to Florida in August?" And I'm
Oh.
like, "Because we spend our time on the boat, at the beach."
yeah, air.
Yeah,
air.
you're
You're
in-
outside.
on
You're
the
yeah.
in
beach.
the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's better. than
And there's
being-
always a breeze by the beach. You know, it's not
Yes.
so bad. It just
Exactly.
dries the sweat right off
It
your
does.
brow.
It definitely does. So yeah, so during the 2009 to 2013, so that's when I got my residency in 2010. I was a English teacher for a lot of different people. I was an English teacher for two groups of very attractive carabinieri, which are the very attractive police officers.
We need to go to
yes.
Italy. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very
Sorry,
nice.
husbands.
Yeah,
Sorry, Johnny.
and during this period, I was very I was living with my friend Marco. And then he moved. I moved in with him again. This is when Simone actually moved back in with me because he sold his house for like a few months and then he moved somewhere else. And then that's when I found Stefano. My husband.
That's your husband.
Yes.
That's
The man.
That's when I found Stefano.
And what's great about him?
He's Italian.
He's Italian. He cooks.
Okay.
Ooh.
He's very.
What's his best dish? One of. Yeah,
That's a
one
tough one. He's really good at making lasagna.
of. Ooh.
I make really
And-
good lasagna too. I wonder if he would like mine though, or he'd
When-
be like, "That's trash." You know,
Well, what do you put in it?
lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like Italian sausage, hot and mild, and I
Mhm.
do ground beef, so it's
Uh-huh.
probably way too much meat for them. But I do not do a bechamel. Like
Yeah,
I
see, he
noticed,
makes the bechamel from scratch.
and I've been wanting to do that.
we should have like a little cooking class.
lasagna cook-off.
Yeah, it's lasagna cook.
You can taste my American lasagna.
Stefano's a really good teacher. That would
Yeah.
be really fun.
I
We
would-
should
I would
plan
enjoy
We
that.
should plan
Okay,
that. That would be
okay.
really fun.
All right.
I'll watch and taste.
yeah, I know. That's what usually. Yeah. He also makes really good tiramisu.
Oh, okay.
I've never tried to make that.
Now you have my attention.
Yes.
I love desserts.
You know
Yes.
what? I love desserts too, and I'm not really a fan of coffee dessert, but I bet if I had a real one,
Mm-hmm.
It's. I mean,
I bet it would be so good.
you've never had tiramisu
I've had it, but like
in McHenry
from-
County.
Yeah. You know, at the local diner, they had it, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is gross. You know?
It's
Like,
supposed to be light.
Yeah.
And when my grandmother made it once, she put way too much brandy. And
Yeah.
Oh.
all of us cousins, and some of the cousins were younger, they were a little drunk.
Yeah.
It's like she's like, I just put a little bit. Like,
because she's like
well,
a half
Nana,
a cup.
you put a little bit too much because
Yes,
it's
everybody's
dripping.
choking on it.
It's dripping in brandy.
See, I didn't know there was brandy in it.
Well, I don't think it's supposed to be brandy,
Oh.
but like she put brandy in it. Like she told us it
that's
was
so
brandy. We're
funny.
like, I don't think you're supposed to put
That
that.
is so
I think
funny.
it was supposed to be coffee, and she made a mistake.
She was like, the coffee wasn't enough. I double dipped it.
That's what I want.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Yeah. So then after that, so me and Stefano met. He and I like didn't. We dated for, let's see. He took me on. Okay, so I have you. Do you guys remember your first trip with like a significant other?
No.
No.
Yes, actually, but okay, so
Yeah.
like my first trip with a significant other is technically my husband now, but we weren't together at the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now I will always remember our first trip because you won't believe where he took me. He took me to Egypt.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I mean, I think we went to Door County, so that's
Yeah.
cool.
Door County.
Door County's great.
Oh God.
Yeah, he took me to Egypt. It was memorable in the sense that like one, I was the only American on this chartered flight from Bologna. And when I arrived in Egypt, and this was still when, Obama was still president and stuff, and all the Italians have to pay a specific tax when they travel.
Right.
So they all went in one line, and I had like free range of one line because I used my American passport,
Sure.
which I was afraid to because my mom, of course, before she's like, "Oh my God, Egyptians don't like Americans. You better stay away." I'm like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Mom, I'm going with Italians. I'm
Yeah.
not wearing an American flag in my head. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay." So when I got up to the customs, I gave him my passport, and his eyes were just like, Obama. Like that's all he said.
Oh
and
my
I'm like,
gosh.
wait, is he here? I'm like, what? And I was like, because there was there's always guards and stuff
Sure.
with guns, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, we love Obama.
Oh, and
we
you're
love
like,
him. I'm like,
Me too.
I'm like, and that's why I'm American. I love him as well. Like, and so I walked up. It took him like a half hour to get through that, but he was like, Stefano was like, what was he saying to you? I'm like, he loves Obama. Like, I don't know. Like, but I was like, I didn't expect that because you expect like all the countries that we hear that hate us.
Right.
You walk in, you're like, they're gonna hate me.
Yeah.
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 Like,
yeah.
and they were very welcoming.
But
that's
so
amazing.
you've been to France.
Oh well, French. Let's just do a sidetrack.
See.
Paris. It's Paris.
Okay.
Okay.
So when I studied abroad, I did 2 weeks backpacking. So like I was in Paris for a short period of time because I just wanted to see Normandy because if you've
yeah.
never been, it's the most beautiful place. I cried. I called my dad with a calling card at the the payphone. There's probably not any of them anymore, but at the train station in Normandy because I was so excited because my dad loves history.
Yeah.
But Parisians are assholes. Like they do not, and Italians don't like Parisians either. They don't like them either.
Mm.
Because I remember going into a hotel because me and my friend Jenny, we were traveling alone. And we mistakenly found a hostel in the red light district where there were cockroaches walking around the first night. We're like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, so we booked it and we tried to go find, Jenny's like, I'll just use my credit card. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, let's go find the nicest hotel. And we walked in, nicest hotel. We found one hotel. And the guy like stood there and his arms crossed. And he's just like, he saw us with our big backpacks. He's just like, are you American? I'm like, yeah.
And you're like,
No.
Obama.
Yeah. I'm like, yes, we can. Like, Overman. No. And he's just like, there's no space for you here.
Oh,
And I'm
sick.
like, oh, that's rude. Like, that's really sad. Like, why can't you be nice? I'm like, we were going to pay you money. Like, I don't know.
yeah.
We found a better hostel after that. But like that, I think Paris itself, I think there's a lot of different, I mean, again, that was one time I was there. I'm sure there are nice people in Paris, but like that period of time, like I did not find anybody nice. We sat in a restaurant for like 45 minutes. They never came and served us. We're just like, we got to fucking get up. Like, they're going to tell us to leave because they're not going to like serve us. We just got street food because that was the only way to get food, you know?
Oh, wow.
Do you think it's because like so many Americans
Have ruined it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Treat
what
it like a
I don't
Sox
know
game.
what it is because it's all Europeans. I feel like don't like Parisians, like because they're just rude.
Yeah.
But my best friend Manon, she's from Montpellier in the southern France, and she is adorable. Like southern France, I think is perfectly fine. Go and visit that. But like I don't know. There's something about because I went 45 minutes by train to Normandy. All those people were so welcoming.
Yeah.
They were so nice. They were just like, welcome, welcome, welcome. I mean, we spoke no French, but like, like we were just like, because we saved them, like, or in the sense, British as well, Canadians as well. Let's talk about the Canadians. like everybody saved,
nice
you know,
about
like, this talk nice about them. But the difference between a train ride to Normandy to Paris, it was just like a complete change of attitude, complete change of personalities. Because when we got to the Normandy station, Bayeux is where the American cemetery is. And some guy walked up to us in perfect English, said, do you want to go see the cemetery and the beaches? We're like, yeah. Okay, €65. And at the time, that was when the euro just switched over. So it was like $65 for me and Jenny to sit in his taxi. He's like, take as long as you want. I won't charge you extra. Go. And he took us to all the places for €65. Like, it was amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
The silence there, guys, if you've been there, you know, like it is the most haunting silence. You could hear the waves. You could hear nothing else. The waves coming in on the beach. Pointe de Heu, which is where the Army Rangers climbed up, that has all the bunkers and the craters from all the bombs still. It is amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
That is
Anyway,
so crazy.
I'm digressing, but yeah, so that's France. Yeah.
I brought up France. Sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, I was like,
Sorry, that
squirrel.
was so interesting.
Squirrel.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so then, Stefano and I, then I took him to
Spell
visit
his name, please.
Stefano.
Oh, thank you.
So, because a lot of Americans call him Stefano.
Stefano.
Yes.
And
Okay, I
it's-
thought that's what you were
it's
saying, but I
not-
wanted to make
it's
sure.
not- and I have to correct my friends because some of my friends still call him Stefano. I'm like, Stefano.
Yes.
The accent is on
Stefano.
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 Yes,
Mhm.
thank you. Because his first job here, I'm gonna tangent again. His first job here refused to learn how to say Stefano,
Oh,
and they called him Steve.
yeah.
Are you kidding me? You
Like,
know?
and my husband has a hearing issue, like he can't hear very well. So I'm like, every time they called him Steve, he's not responding because
Yeah.
that's not his name, you know. So I was very offended. Anyway, but so Stefano, I took him for Christmas in 2012. And that's where he met all my crazy family, and everyone loved him and everything. And then, in 2013, that was June, we went to Florida where my parents have the timeshare. And this is when Stefano was like, oh my God, what is this place?
This is amazing.
And I'm like, well, first of all, we're at a timeshare. We're going to really nice restaurants. Like my parents are taking
This
us
is in
out.
Florida?
This is in Florida. We're in Naples, like Bonita
Yeah,
Beach.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, and he's like flabbergasted on like how people are so nice. And like, cause I mean, yeah, we were, okay, winter in Chicago, you don't go out as much. So I don't think he got the same like, so when we were in Florida, he was just like, I think I want to live here. And I'm like, what?
You're like, no, you don't. This
Why?
is the armpit of the
I'm
United
like,
States.
why would you want to live in the States? Like, why? And so we started talking about, when we arrived back, and he always reminds me of this, like, as we're descending into the Florence airport, he sees the hills of Tuscany, and he's like, he had this sinking feeling in his stomach. He's like, I just don't want to be here anymore. Because life there at the time, and still is very hard for Italians. There's a lot of economic turmoil. The taxes there, they take about 50% of your paycheck, the government, and they get paid monthly. I don't know if you knew that. They don't get paid every 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So you got to really budget. If you're
Yeah.
not making, like, the average pay is $1,200 a month.
A month.
A month.
Okay.
That's the average, but you could get less.
And then how much is like an average house to rent or
Yeah.
mortgage?
I mean, his mortgage was like 300 and something
Okay.
bucks a month,
Okay.
300 euro a month.
Okay.
But that's not adding all the other expenses
Sure,
of
of course.
like
Right.
electricity, air
Right.
conditioning, heat, and all that stuff. And then there's just random taxes. The property taxes are really high. Like there's just a lot of like things you don't know about when you're a tourist. And every time I came into contact with somebody when I moved back, they're like, "Why the hell did you leave?" I'm like, "You don't know what it's like to live there.
yeah,
don't.
it's different.
Yeah.
You don't." I was making 10 euro an hour teaching English, which is bupkis. Like
Yeah.
I worked my ass off riding my little yellow bike with my basket and my bell, like all over Florence to make €1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 month I did that. The rest of the month it was like 800, 700, like basically making ends meet. But it was hard. It was really hard. And I didn't have to worry about taxes because I had a school that, like, I think put my taxes under the table. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't have to pay
We
for
don't
it.
need to measure
Well,
it here.
I don't know. I don't live there anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Nobody's
yeah.
asked me for
That was in the
anything.
past.
It's been
Don't
10
ask me
years.
about it. Yeah.
I don't have any. I want to be audited. Nothing. But yeah. So it was really hard. And he started kind of like a freelance company that he worked for his old company that year, 2013. And then he was like, I think we should move over there. I'm like, well, we can't just move. You have to ask me to marry you. It's not like, hey, buy me a ticket. I can
You're
move.
like, how the tables have turned.
What do you have to do? So our anniversary is always the 24th of June, which is
That's my birthday.
Yep. That's a great day.
That's a great day.
That's a great day.
And it's a great day in Florence because it's the patron saint, St. John,
Oh.
San Giovanni. They do huge fireworks.
Oh,
in
indeed.
Florence.
We
You
have
should
Another
celebrate.
reason to go.
Yeah.
You should go over your birthday. Oh my God, it's like
Yes.
the best time.
Let's book it right now.
Well,
I got a credit card. I have a credit card.
Credit.
Future cast. Worry about it.
Worry about it later. Yeah, so he took me out to dinner on that day and he gave me his mother's engagement ring.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Sweet.
And he did it like this. He's like, in Italian, he's like, mi vuoi sposare? He said it really soft. And I'm like, it's a loud restaurant.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
what
yeah.
did you say? Like, he's like, would you marry me? I'm like, yeah.
Say it in Italian again.
Mi vuoi sposare?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so romantic.
I know. It's so cute. But yeah, and then let's see, that's like 6 months. For 6 months, then we started like preparing like to get rid of all of our stuff. And then he had a house, so we were gonna rent his house, and that's what we did. And then we sold it eventually, and he moved over.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
And so how long have you guys been married now?
We've been married since 2014.
Okay.
Yes.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah.
I think that's the same year me and Johnny got married too.
Amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. We have a lot of anniversaries. If you ask
Yes.
him, he's like, what anniversary is this? Because like we got married at the courthouse, then we
Yeah.
got married at the Abbey in Fontana, and then
Oh,
we
that's a
have-
beautiful place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, she goes, yeah.
It was really nice.
That
it
also went on the credit card.
Yeah.
also went on the And I have the anniversary of our first date, like all that stuff. So yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So ask me questions. And I'll
Hey,
drink my wine.
it just sounds romantic, doesn't
I
it?
know. I want to go and
Like
get
when I
married
met
again.
Steve, he was
Johnny,
sitting on his couch.
What the hell, Johnny? Didn't even take me to France.
We've talked
or
about it
Italy
before,
or
but now we
nothing.
have
Now you have-
connection here, and
yeah,
we
we
have
can
a
plan a
hosted.
trip. plan a trip.
So you know what? Let's talk about this.
Yes.
Because you host families in Florence, right?
I
So
host
please
anybody.
tell us. Yeah, tell us
Yeah,
all
so
about
how
that.
does that work?
So
what do we do?
so what do we?
Yeah, what do we do and how much is
here's
it?
the credit card machine.
Yes.
Just type it.
Does
in.
my
Do
credit
you
card
take
just pay
Venmo?
your credit card?
That's exactly what it
What
does.
would be the experience of someone that would like to travel with you?
So I do host retreats. So a retreat is a week. I have personal relationships with these villas, so like the one I was talking about before, but I also have a villa that's right near my mother-in-law's house, like 2 minutes away.
Amazing.
And Maria,
That is where I would want to go.
yeah,
Mhm.
Maria, who's the owner, and Vincenzo, they own the villa. And Maria used to be like an expert chef at all these
my
hotels around Tuscany. So
That is
she does.
absolutely where I want to go.
She does cooking classes. She prepares meals. And my mother-in-law also prepares meals, and she's just like amazing.
I'm
Like,
sure.
I've really lucked out on the mother-in-law department.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we do like for example the one I'm doing next September 2024, which I'm trying to get sold.
Mhm.
We do throughout the week we do 3 different vineyards that we visit, and we do a tour, wine tastings. You can purchase the wine, all that stuff. We visit 3 different towns as well. Siena, maybe Monteregioni, San Gimignano. I think we might go to Florence as well, just for the day. And then what my idea is to keep it so we do one thing a day. It's not rushed.
This is
Right.
the relax retreat,
Right.
right?
This is the
okay,
wine
I did
and
see that
relax.
online. Well, yes,
Wine
thank
and
you.
relax retreat. And I don't want, because I know how Americans like to travel. Let's jam it in for 10 days.
Not
I
me.
want to do 3 days this way.
Yeah.
No, this sounds amazing.
Yeah.
this
I
way,
want to
yeah.
just sit and be at the pool, because there's a pool on site. So there's a pool. We're in a gated. We're gated in. It's
Yeah.
all privacy. And we're in this little like kind of a little town above a bigger town. So
Okay.
it's easily to walk around. Like you can take pictures. You can just like walk around and like just enjoy like being
That
in Tuscany.
sounds so good.
It is
And you
really
are
good.
you with them the whole week?
Mhm. Yep,
Okay,
I'm here-
Okay.
I'm with
so
them
if
the
there's
whole
any
week.
questions or learnings?
Exactly.
Or, okay.
So
okay.
I'm there the whole week. We take them. Me and Stefano drives us around. My mother-in-law comes in, cooks us some meals. We do everything together. And then at night, we always have, I think there's one night I like to go out to dinner. The rest of the nights we're at home.
Oh
and
my
we're
God.
just
I
sitting
wanna
there
go.
drinking wine, talking, connecting. I want it to be an intimate experience. Like
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like, okay, now we can go here and I have my own car and I'm gonna go. Because I've had people ask me that, like, you're doing a week, can I just rent a car and meet you there? I'm like, no. Like then
we're
that's
just-
what's the point? You're gonna
Yeah.
pay me money to just rent another car and
Yeah.
like go where you want. I want you to feel like you're part of like the culture.
Yeah.
It's
And I
like
want
Olive
you-
Garden when you're here, your family.
Oh my gosh.
Not at all. Don't talk about that. Oh, it's a horrible place. Sorry, Olive Garden, but
Oh,
That's
so
twice
funny.
now. You've done that
It's so
twice.
funny.
You're like,
Did
I
you
had
bring
Olive
I did it to
Garden.
Craig
you
too.
did.
I
You brought
did it
it
to
up.
Greg.
I remember listening to
had
it.
Olive
Like,
Garden
she
last
talked about
night.
Olive Garden. Damn it. No. No, not at all. See, I'm crossing my arms. I'm like, no, Cass.
When you're here, your family.
Oh my God.
No, that's the title of this episode.
when you're here, your family.
No, but that's such a great experience for
Yeah.
those that want to. You know,
Sure.
they need to know that that's the
Yeah.
full
That sounds so great. Like
experience.
I imagine myself waking up just a little wine hungover,
Yeah.
and like there's a great spread of like some like
Yeah.
cheese and fruit
Oh my
and
God.
stuff.
That's exactly
and
it.
then I'm like, I'm gonna go relax in the pool for a little bit and cool off, and then like, oh wait, we're going to walk and drink more wine. Fuck yeah!
Can I tell you that the cheese that I do get for
I
the
love cheese.
Yeah, the cheese that I do get for breakfast is from I think it's goat cheese. I don't remember. He has goats and sheep. Freshest cheese.
Oh,
the
God.
butter is so good.
My mouth is watering.
I know. It's like my mother-in-law, that's the only place she gets cheese. So she
So you
tells-
know it's good.
it's yeah. So I got a whole bunch of cheese. I mean, it's just amazing. So
You know,
yeah,
we're going to
we
go on
got-
this trip and it's
we
going
gotta
to
go.
wreck our future because we're going to come back here and be like,
And
shredded
shredded
you're gonna go-
mozzarella.
You're gonna go to Olive Garden. You're not gonna feel like family. Like you're just not.
we're like, you're just like second cousins, third
Like,
removed.
I don't want another warm breadstick. Like, give me some cheese. Like,
Oh,
Is this
shit.
local? Is this local
Yeah.
cheese?
Oh,
Is this
that
a
is
local
so
farmer?
Oh my
funny.
god! But so the other experience that I
crying.
have is in 2025 because I'm talking about it now. I'm doing 9 days, 10 nights in Florence because I've lived there for so long. I found this amazing B&B. It's called the Secret Garden Firenze, and it's like if you look on the pictures online, it looks like you're in like an oasis in the middle of the city.
Oh, cool.
And I can't wait. This September, I'm going to meet her. Her name is Lucrezia, and her husband Filippo. They bought this place and they renovated it. And I have always wanted to start my retreats in Florence because I just know so much about him, and I still have a lot of like connection with it. So that's the other retreat. So that's July 2025. The
Amazing.
10th through the 20th.
And
Yeah.
you said you still need a few more people to travel next September.
Well,
as
I need
well.
a lot more people because I don't have anybody right now.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, because I know that McHenry Chamber,
Is
like when
this
they
what
send out their
you're-
emails, it was
Yeah,
showing
that's for
that.
my wine tastings. I'll talk
Oh,
about
okay.
that in a second.
Okay.
though.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so-
I need people. I need at least 6 people to run my retreat for
Okay.
September 2024.
I'm gonna ask,
yeah.
and you can tell me it hasn't been decided, or tell me to mind my own business.
Give us a range.
She can always edit it out. How much is that gonna cost?
Give us a
So
range.
right now I have an early bird special.
Okay.
I did see that.
Yeah. So if you book by July 31st, you get $300 off.
Okay.
So the total price is $4,279
I
Per
would totally
person.
do
per
that.
person.
Yeah.
I would totally do that.
I can't go to Italy without Steve though. He's half Italian.
You can bring. It's not just
Yeah.
a
We can
women's
take
thing.
Steve
You
too.
can bring. You can bring men.
Oh, I thought you looked at me
Just
like
because
we're
I'm going.
The Clopen and Katie are going.
Yes,
I thought that's
yes.
what you meant.
And
Just
Steve.
because I'm going.
And Stefan.
And
That's it.
Stefano.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Stefan.
My husband,
Mine is
Yeah,
Stefan.
Steve.
my husband just retired
Oh,
this year,
Okay.
and he needs to go on a vacation.
This sounds like a great vacation then for you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
It
And Steve has always
does.
wanted to go to Italy, so
Yeah.
My
My husband is a tinkerer, though. He's
What does that
not-
mean?
He doesn't sit still very well.
well, he could do some laps in the pool if he wants to.
yeah.
Or walk
or is
around.
there like yeah, maybe he could milk a goat for the cheese that we're
Yeah,
gonna have
get
the
out
next
there,
morning.
make our
Does he
cheese.
like photography? Does he like to take pictures? No. Okay.
He's
Maybe
a
he could
manly man.
learn. It's a whole new
He's
country.
a very manly man.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have
There
many
is Wi-Fi
hobbies.
in the villa.
Yeah.
If
And
you're-
maybe he
he's
could
not-
tinker on I don't know, a
Like,
building.
if
or,
there was anything to fix, he would be like, "You want me to help you with it?"
yeah, so
Look at this
He's
screen
like
door
Stefano.
is
Stefano
kinda
and him.
squeaky.
Yeah.
Stefano and him would get along because Stefano's a handyman,
Yeah.
like type of guy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
that
they
would
would all
work
get
out.
along.
I mean, if he's open to
Yeah.
traveling, does he like to travel? We don't want to make him, and then he's like miserable.
I mean, I make him and he has a good time, you know. But like, okay, again, I'm gonna talk about Florida again. I took him down to Florida to
Yeah.
my friend's house. You know,
Uh-huh.
we're all just hanging out, and of
Yeah.
course, he's up first thing in the morning every day,
What time is up?
like 5.
oh,
Like
okay.
he's up. You
Well,
know,
I usually get up at 4.
it doesn't
so.
matter what time we go to bed. He's up at 5. You know.
Okay.
And then I'm like, wake up, like rubbing sleep out of my eyes. It's like 9 a.m. and my eyes are burning because we stayed out till 2 a.m. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just fixing the screen door. It wasn't closing right, you know? And like, Jay's like passed out on the couch, like hasn't even woke up yet. You know, that's my husband.
So the fence
Ah.
that might be falling over a little bit will get fixed in
Oh.
Italy. So
All right.
I mean, you know,
Well, he could help a mother-in-law because she
Yeah.
has always things that needs to be
Yeah,
fixed.
you
And
know,
Stefano
like-
needs a hand
yeah.
because that's usually when
He'll
we
be
go
out there picking grapes from the
so
vineyard.
how many
Yeah.
years have you done this? Have
so
you hosted?
I started in 2019 with this business. I called it a different name, and then I had a yoga retreat planned for June of 2020.
Of course.
Five
God.
people, no, 6 people signed up, and then I had to give them all their money back.
It's so frustrating.
So that was frustrating. So then I kind of backtracked and I found my focus. Like I am a yoga teacher and I also am a meditation teacher. I'm a personal trainer. Like I have so many certifications. But I found that after that all fell apart and in 2021, I was like, I really like just Florence and Tuscany. Like, why don't I
Yeah.
just like focus on that? And if I want to add yoga or a sound bath or whatever, like I can do that. But I want to focus on what I'm passionate about. Like that's
Yeah.
what I'm passionate about. I love it. I just can't get it out of my head. Like I still feel like I'm there. And when we bought this house, I live in Lakewood. When I bought this house, I remember just thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck here forever. I don't want to be stuck here forever. We have a 30-year mortgage. I don't want it. Like
I wake up every morning and say that.
like, I don't want to here. Like, because I grew up here and it's
Yeah.
different. Like, Stefano loves it here because, one, he gets twice the pay, which he loves. But, he didn't grow up here. Like, he doesn't know what it's like to come back to your hometown and, like, randomly run into people at the house walk in Crystal Lake saying, hey, you want to go to our reunion?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No.
Like, I don't want
There's
to
a
go.
reason I
Like-
spent so much time across the pond.
Yeah, I don't have any connection with any. It's hard to connect with people from high school, especially if
I
you've
agree.
lived abroad or if you've done something else that's not McHenry County or not in Chicago.
We just
Yeah.
flipped over to the AMP podcast now.
Yes. Yes.
What's
Our
that
other one.
Yeah.
We call it
Anxiety.
AMP.
Oh,
we call it
anxiety
AMP.
makes me poop if you guys haven't listened yet.
Let's talk about how you don't connect with people from high school.
Yeah. Anyway,
So tell
but
us
let's not
more,
go there.
because I'm very, I'm
Yes.
very interested for next year. But I also want to share it with other people
Yeah.
so that if they're interested,
Yeah.
tell like what would their 10 days look like or whatever it is for next
so,
September.
So next September will look like, so you would arrive on, well, you could arrive anytime you want. If you wanted to come a
Does
couple
the
days
price
before,
include flights? I'm sorry.
No,
I
it
didn't mean
does
to
not.
Okay, so flights, and then
It
this
does
is just for you to be
the
there to
accommodation,
stay.
Okay.
all
Yes,
the
thank you.
food at the villa, all the excursions,
Yes.
the driving, everything. The only thing it doesn't cover is if we eat out, I'm not gonna pay for your lobster. So like,
Of course.
Yeah.
So
No, that makes sense.
we just pay for each other when we eat out. And travel insurance, I won't pay for that, so you can do that yourself. What was the
Sure,
other thing?
sure.
But yeah, mostly it's the things outside of
Souvenirs,
the villa,
stuff like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
souvenirs. If you want to tip me, great. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Sure. Got your iPad. 20%
Here's my credit
gratuity.
card machine. Just kidding. No, so yeah, so it's mostly just airfare is the biggest thing because
Okay.
everyone wants airfare included, but that's just not gonna happen. I can't get
no.
6
Let them
people.
worry about them.
Yeah.
But you
Yep.
plan it, like arrival.
Yep.
Get there. You make sure that they get their
Yep, I
flights.
pick you up at the train station, at the local train station. So I tell you, okay.
Hold on, I
this
thought we
is-
were flying there. Tell us how to get there.
Oh yeah. So you're gonna fly. So for this one, I would recommend flying to Florence.
Thank you. Yes.
Because it's only a 45-minute train ride from the Florence station.
Okay.
So it's easy to get to. If you wanted a private driver, I could arrange that. You would just have to pay for that.
Sure.
Like,
All right.
if
So
you
we're
don't
taking
want
the train.
If you want to take the train, which is an experience you should get.
yeah, absolutely.
So I'll pick you up at the train station, drive you back up to the villa. We'll have like an aperitivo on the first night, like a big happy hour type of thing.
Yeah.
Wine, of course.
Yes.
Cheese, maybe.
Yes.
Cheese.
Sold.
Johnny, get us the cheese.
Got the cheese from the farmer. And then throughout the week, I have, let's see, Sunday, because we come in on a Saturday. So Sunday, I want to go to this beautiful vineyard called La Pia in Percosina. And it's in San Casciano Val di Pesa. And it's a very young vineyard. And it's owned by an American who fell in love with an Italian. And in this way, it's a man.
Oh.
So Joe, who's from New York, he's awesome. And Marta is his wife. And they have 2 kids, I think. Yes. And they found this, they drove past this vineyard like so many times, or this vineyard, this place. It wasn't a vineyard before. They created the vineyard. And then they finally bought it. And like 14 years later, they have this vineyard. They planted a vineyard. They found after they bought it, that there's this like deserted park behind their property that is a famous park where he found in the park like remnants of like bullets from the Germans. Like they were like,
Wow.
That's crazy.
and it is it's the coolest park. The history around the park, I'm not going to say it because it's a long story, but like it's beautiful. And Marta is the best cook. Like our wine tasting was like €30. And I'm like, why isn't it 100? You gave us like
Yeah.
8 dishes. And you sit amongst the olive trees. You can see the Duomo, the Florence Duomo from their vineyard.
Wow.
So it's that close to
that's
Florence.
so awesome.
Yeah, so that's,
and that's
the first
just the
day.
first day.
That's the first day.
That's just the first day.
first day.
And yeah, so from there, like we can go to Siena and have like a day there.
How long is the flight from here to
So
Florence?
there's not a direct flight to Florence.
Damn it.
I know. It's only Rome. So if you wanted to fly to Rome, you could. You would just have to take a longer train ride to get to the villa.
how long would that be, do you think, the train ride?
Probably you would have to stop in Florence. So if you take a fast train from Rome to Florence, it's like an hour, really
Oh,
quick. And
yeah.
then Florence to Castel Fiorentino, which is where it is 40 minutes. So you
Yeah,
could do that too.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So you could fly to Rome.
Because you like direct. You don't like. You don't
like to stop.
You don't
I don't
to
like
stop.
stopping.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like stop.
So then
Get
I
me,
would
get me there.
recommend.
Get me there.
I would recommend then doing the Rome one if it's still available, because during the pandemic they stopped it for a while from Chicago,
Oh,
but I
okay.
think it is still available. So
Yeah.
you would get, if you left, I think the flight's like at 4 p.m. from Chicago, and you would get to Rome at like 8 a.m. It's like freaking amazing.
That is perfect.
Can you believe it? It's like
That is
freaking-
perfect.
It is. It's amazing. Yeah. So
Where do I sign?
right at my credit card. It joke's old now. No.
Never.
Never. I think it's hilarious.
But yeah. So what else? I mean, I could tell you every day that I've planned. Do you want me
No,
to do
I mean that was perfect.
Okay.
That's enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sold. So
Yeah.
And Florence, the Florence one is more like we'll be doing a lot more like walking around. We'll do a day in Tuscany.
I'll probably just
In
stay at the pool
Chianti?
that day.
Well, there's no pool in Florence.
Well, you know.
Well, there is a pool that we would go to, or I was thinking about. I'm still kind of planning it.
I'll go milk
like
the goats.
I was thinking about going to the seaside for the day too.
Oh, I
like
could do
from
that.
Florence. Like
Yeah.
that's like an hour or so train ride too.
I could do that.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's my retreats. And I also do private retreats. So if you wanted to do something private with your family or friends or girls trips, like I had a college friend ask me like, "Hey, do you do these for girls trips?" I'm like, "Yes, I would love to do it."
How cool would your bachelorette party be in Italy?
yeah,
Just having
Yeah.
Katie here just show you around.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Like, hey guys, I know where this really cool bar is over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to contain you in a bubble so you don't embarrass yourselves in front of all the
Well,
Italians.
you know, I promise I'll keep it less noise than a Sox game.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm not worried about myself. I'm looking up flights already.
Are you really? Get out.
Yes,
Book
let's
one
get
for
this.
me, too.
Book it. So yeah. So the other thing I do is I've been asked a lot to help with like trip planning. So I've narrowed it down to just doing excursion planning, meaning that I'll set up a wine tasting for you. I will book a cooking class for you. I will find, if you want to hike in the Tuscan Hills, I have an amazing girl named Sara who owns a company called We Hike. And she does these really cool like tours of you hike through the Tuscan Hills and then you go make a pizza. You hike through the Tuscan Hills and you learn how bees make honey.
Reward at the end.
You
That's what I
hike
need.
and you drink more wine. You
Yeah.
hike and you drink beer because there's a beer one she has. So I do that for just excursions. So people have asked me to do accommodations. I don't do them anymore. They're just too much of a headache for me.
Yeah.
So I'd rather do like things that I know and people that I know. I want to give back to these amazing like companies that are
Right.
small.
Right.
There's this one guy I'm going to meet in September. Stefano and I are going just for like a research trip is what I call it. His name's Gianluca and I found him on Instagram and he started his cooking extravaganza after COVID. And he's this older man. I feel like he's retired, but he just loves to cook. And he's in this town that I love, Monteferralle, which is another vineyard and a town that I love to go to. And he has this small little house. He's like, I can only accommodate 4 people. And it's this amount of money. And I would love to meet you. And I talked to him on WhatsApp a few months ago. And I'm like, I feel like we're friends. Like we're best
Yeah.
friends already. Like he's
Yeah.
just like, when you talk to someone over the phone, you don't know. And you're like, wait, I really like you. And I feel
Yeah.
like I've known you. And that's how I feel with this Gianluca. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to meet him. Like, I get off the phone. I'm like, oh my God, he's like my best friend. Like, so those types of experiences, very intimate. I have another girl I'm going to meet, Katarina. And she said, when I talked to her, she's like, your name's Katarina. Your name, I'm like, yeah. And she's like, we're cool because we both have the same name. I can't wait to meet you. Her family owns a really amazing jewelry workshop. So they make argento, which is silver. So she does workshops. So but
Okay.
again, intimate. Only 4 people can make your own
Yeah.
jewelry at this place.
Jeez.
So
So cool.
So these are the types of things that I like to share with people because they're just like real people. Like these are small places. You're not going to find them in Rick Steve's
But you're
book.
bringing them business, which is amazing.
Yes,
you know,
and that's
it's
what I love about
entertaining
it.
them and you for the day, and they get to
And-
share their knowledge and
Exactly.
It kind
And
of makes me want to do something cool, so someone wants to come here.
to McHenry County.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
like
I gotta
find all
find-
the little gems, like
Yeah.
similar,
I
right?
gotta find something.
Really cool.
I just want to host people at my house. Like, come to my house.
Now I really want to go to your house.
and I
I'm like, how
will
cool
take
is
you
your
up
house?
and down my neighborhood street, and when we come back, we'll have wine.
There you go. I would totally do that. I would totally do that.
So I mean, not for nothing, but I'm looking up air, and it's
Okay.
it's very low right now. It's less than $700 round trip,
Shoot.
and it's FCO. Is that Rome? FCO,
Yeah, that's
right?
yeah, Fumicino. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
thank you.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's Rome. That's great.
It is
wow.
$674
It's-
round trip right now,
Get the frick
and it's
out.
overnight.
Overnight, yeah.
Yep.
So that's the reason why Rome is better, because it is cheaper. See, I always go to Florence because we used to go to Rome, but it's a 3-hour drive to Florence.
Yeah.
And that's where my mother-in-law is. So, and it's just
You just
not
wanna
worth
get
it.
there. You
It's
just
just
wanna
not
get
worth
there.
it.
Yeah.
But renting the car, and it's just, and then we'd have to leave the night before
Yeah.
to get to the air.
It's
just
about
like a whole thing.
$1,000 to Florence right now.
Oh my, yeah. That's
That's
great.
not bad at
That's
all.
great.
That's
Yeah.
still
great.
not that bad.
No,
No.
it's not bad.
Well, we were looking at Fiji at one
We
time.
were looking at Fiji.
We were thinking
Oh.
about going to Fiji.
I'd love to go to
right?
Fiji. Ugh.
And we were like, okay, we need like at least 13 days.
Right,
Like,
because
you,
they're so ahead.
lose a day traveling.
Yes.
And, like,
and you have to fly from California.
oh,
So you go
yes.
from O'Hare to, I think it's to LA.
We were gonna,
LA?
we were gonna fly Chicago to LA and then stay the night there and then fly LA the rest of the trip. And then, and it was expensive. I think
was.
it was
It
like
was more than
over
that.
Well,
2,000.
Well,
Yeah.
Fiji is far. I would imagine
It
it, would
is.
be really.
It's,
But I
it's
would-
reasonable to stay there. The flight is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what sucks. That's like
Yes.
Indonesia or Bali is like cheap to go, like be
Yes.
there,
but you gotta get
but you
there.
gotta get there.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, credit card.
Yeah.
Credit card and then just
card.
using their currency.
Cha-ching.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so the excursion planning is for people, I imagine people that want my recommendations. They want a really intimate and like bespoke, really authentic experience.
Well, they're
And
buying you.
maybe
They're buying you in the experience.
Yeah,
is
'cause,
what they're
like,
doing,
I want-
which is amazing.
I want to offer them the ability to really immerse themselves in the culture. I want people that are open-minded, that are like, I've never been to Italy and I want to see it through in Italian.
Yep.
Like I don't want to go on a big bus tour
Right.
and have somebody holding a flower and then like
Right.
walking around. Like
I want to be a
it's great.
tourist, but I don't want to be a tourist.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
like I want
Right.
to try. Like at the end of my September retreat last year, which I had 2 couples and they're amazing. They told me, they're like, we feel like we learned Italian, even
Oh,
though we
it's-
didn't, speak it.
Yeah.
Because me and Stefano would speak it. My mother-in-law doesn't speak English, so she was trying to communicate as much as she could in Italian, but with her hands, obviously.
Sure.
That's
Yeah,
why I'm not
yeah,
touching-
yeah.
I'm not touching the table. To make the noise. But yeah. So that's the essence of it. Like that's
Yeah.
what I want people to understand. Like I'm not just okay. I'm gonna book you this and bye bye. No, I'm gonna actually give you. Then there's an app that I have that I'm gonna give you the itinerary with all the contact information. Contact with me, like there's a messaging system in the app that you can contact me throughout your trip and say, hey, I'm not sure about this and stuff like that. But we'll also do prior to the trip, like ask me questions about travel, about train travel, all the things. Like we'll do video conferences and stuff like that. But that's for people that are like, I don't know where to go. I want your help.
Mm-hmm.
So then
That's me.
I also have the offer. I have these consulting calls, which are for people that are self-planners that like maybe you have already your
Oh.
itinerary, but you're like, I'm not really sure like how to get around. Tell me how to use the trains. What about customs? What about culture? Something like that. So I have a 30-minute call and I have a 60-minute call. So that's also available on my website.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So that you can just get a little taste, but I won't book anything for you. I'm just giving
Right.
you information.
Sure.
The 60-minute call, I'll give you like, if you need like me to review like an accommodation. Like I just
Oh,
had
sure.
this email the other day that asked me like about hotels, differences between hotels and all that. And so I can do that. I can like say, okay, you want to be in Florence. You chose this one, and this one. I'll tell you, okay, well, what are you looking for? Okay, well, this one's probably better for you.
Right.
Amazing.
And maybe if you want a villa, I'll be like, okay, well, Maria's villa is available. Like,
Yes.
So I will always go back to the people that I know and give back to the small family-run businesses, because that's what I feel is another part of my mission is like, because of COVID hitting Italy so bad, if we all remember how horrible it was, and I have friends and family that were affected by it. I feel like it's just, I want to get back to all those really, really small businesses, because
Yep.
a lot of those disappeared because
Yeah.
the big box hotels, tourist companies, they thrived because they have money. But the Italian government, unlike the American government, did not give surplus paychecks to Italians.
Yeah.
Nobody got any money during that whole period. We got a lot of money. as companies and people and everything.
Yeah.
Italians got bupkis, especially small businesses, which was really sad when a lot of those places closed.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to really, really give back to those places, and that's where I'm searching. I'm searching for like this B&B I found in Florence. Like I've never heard of it. They just opened it a few years ago. It was something I read it on her website, just saying it was a homage to her father. Like
Amazing.
wanted this place, and then they bought it from him, and they turned it in this beautiful B&B. And yeah, so that's what I really want to do with those experiences for
Amazing.
sure.
Supporting the small
So you have
business.
next September,
Next
and then
September.
you also have 2025.
2025 right now. Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
And they're similar.
Similar, except the July 2025 is 9 days, 10 nights.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be a very more immersive experience because you're going to be in
And how many
Florence.
people?
For that
2025?
one is total, I believe, between 6 and 8
Okay.
is I can fill in that B&B.
You guys better book it now.
So
Yeah.
where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at truly_Italy, Facebook Truly Italy. I'm on TikTok. I recently got on Threads. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. But
I heard that my grandma
I
said,
don't know.
"Oh, everybody's on Threads now instead of Twitter." I go, "I don't know what either of those are."
Yeah.
And
I
what
mean,
is your
obviously I know what
website?
Twitter is.
It's trulyitaly.tours.
Okay.
So not .com.
TrulyItaly.tours.
And then the
Okay.
last thing I'll
Yep,
say
yep.
is I do have Tuscan wine tastings that I'm offering to McHenry County. So I'm going to be at the Beach Bash this Sunday in McHenry. And I'm going to so this is an event where you pick what town. On my website I already have it. Like it's San Gimignano Cettona, which is one of the wines that we were tasting. And you pick that, and then the max is 10 people. But if you need more people, if you want more people, fine. But all the information is on my website. But if
Okay.
you book within the next 2 weeks, I'll give you a free bottle of wine.
Ooh-wee.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
There's
yeah.
QR code here that
Yes.
we can
Yeah.
share.
Yeah. We'll
too.
share all this.
Yes,
Yeah.
that'll be awesome. Yeah. So, yeah. So I do a lot of cool things. I hope you listen to my podcast, Florence and Me. Like
Yes.
that's it's like my love letter to Florence too, because like
Love
I
it.
talk all about my life. Like you guys got a snippet, but I talk even more off on tangents. Like I go
Yeah.
off on tangents.
I
all the
can't
time.
wait to listen.
And
'cause
I
it's
don't-
very
Go download it
interesting.
right
It is.
now,
It's
everybody.
it's very interesting. I don't edit it either, so I don't have the patience. So
So
She was asking, who does all your editing? I'm like, me.
You start laughing and stuff, and you're just like laughing for 5 minutes.
and I'm very emotional on it too. So don't think like I get really, really emotional about just the people that I've met.
Yeah.
I'd love to come back on and tell other stories. So, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, please
you know,
do.
Like,
Yeah.
because I have a lot more.
Well,
was fantastic.
after our
Yeah.
trip, we'll
Yes.
get together again.
Yeah. It'll be so much fun.
Oh, before the trip, we'll have her on so we can talk about everything that we're doing.
Yes.
And then after, we'll talk about everything we did.
I would love it. I would
Yeah.
love it. That would
Yeah.
be awesome, guys.
Yeah.
You'll just
so
hear
much.
about all my cheese and wine.
Yes.
This was so amazing. We were so excited.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited
So, yeah,
to
thank
meet
you so
guys.
much. Yeah,
This
thank
is
you.
so much fun.
So great. And thanks for Robin for the connection.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Robin.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you,
Robin.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing.
Is Robin the one that's been hooking us up with all these awesome people?
Yes. Yeah, she
She's my
sends us
business-
emails.
Thanks, Robin.
She's my business coach, so she's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
very
That's
nice.
so
Yes,
great.
yes, yes.
She's
Very
great.
nice.
I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
well,
you,
thank
guys.
you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
so
Thank
great.
you.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
You did so good.
Oh my gosh. What a storyteller.
Yeah, I was afraid that I was gonna like. Oh, I can take these off.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by NameTag Productions, LLC. Entire podcast, unless otherwise stated, written by the hosts. The Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. If we have to be all in this together, we might as well make it fun.